All right, sweet. I think we're ready. I think we're ready.
I'm ready.
Good job, Juan. You're great, bud.
Thank you.
Today, I am here to give you the assurance that I have not forgotten you.
If we want to see the new evangelization become more than just jargon, if we want to see it grow legs and gain traction and change the world, we have got to take seriously our responsibilities as husbands and fathers, and especially as sons of God.
I want to propose to you then that something that our world is desperately in need of in the midst of this crisis is Catholic Christian masculinity.
If you want to be a good father, then bring your children to confession with you.
I can't get there unless I become a man of ascesis, a man of asceticism, a man of training.
A man not doing penance, a man not disciplined, is not a man.
You guys have upped your game.
You know what, guys? I gotta say, I love the concept of the man show.
Warning: the Catholic Man Show is about to begin.
Welcome to the Catholic Man Show. We're on the Lord's team, the winning side, so raise your glass. Adam Minahan here, sitting with David Niles, Juan on the buttons, Jim right by the door, being the bodyguard. No one can come in. Actually, I got to give props to Jim because we gave a challenge out last week for the man gear. It was a man challenge.
Man challenge.
And Jim came in and was like, "Hey, how'd your challenge go?" Which I intentionally
Which you challenged.
It
was
was
your challenge.
It was my challenge, so I needed to follow up. I did one. I failed. I invited him. Did not come. He said he wasn't going to come. It's okay. I kind of figured he wouldn't, but I was going to at least give it a shot. Mm-hmm. But Jim over here, Mr. Overachiever, he invited 8 people to Holy Mass.
And 4 of them came.
4 of them came.
You know why? It's because they were too scared to say no. He's the bodyguard.
He's the bodyguard. Right.
Okay, Jim.
Yes,
sure, sure, Mr. Spencer. I'll be there.
Right.
Please don't smash me. Don't Hulk smash me, Jim.
So I mean, hey, that was way to go, Jim. Good job, bud. Did you do anything, or did you just
brought my wife's cousin to Mass?
Oh yeah, nice.
But I can't really take props for that. He was already coming, but I did do it.
Nice.
See, I failed.
You even took him to Clear Creek this week.
We took him to Clear Creek. Yep. That was his idea.
So I was trying to give you even more credit.
Yep.
Didn't work.
I was just like one of those things where I was really just dominating the challenge without even knowing or trying. That's how efficient I was at the evangelization challenge
that we had last week.
For the man challenge last week.
Nice, dude.
Have we done man challenges before?
I don't know if we have or not. We've done enough episodes now where I can't recall, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I feel you.
So we're not having a whiskey this evening. We're gonna have a beer.
I like beer. I like beer.
Which beer works?
I like beer mucho.
We're having a beer brought to you by our patron members, Joe Foiler and Grant Hagedon. Is that right?
I don't know, man.
Dr. Hagedon? Yes. They brought us beer from Indiana. Joe went up to visit. It's at St. Benedict's Brew Works. There you go.
And we're drinking Dark Souls, and it says 9.1. I'm assuming that's the ABV.
Yeah, ABV. Yep. They're out of Ferdinand, Indiana. So what happened is there's a Benedictine. They're sisters of the Benedictine monastery.
Sisters of the Benedict.
Yeah, I think. Or gosh, I can't remember what it is. Anyway, okay. Benedictine sisters. I don't know I forget what they're called.
Are nuns brewing this beer?
No. So what they're doing is they're only about 6 miles away from this brewery, and they get to go and taste test and do some quality control.
Gotcha.
So on their growlers it says "Pray, Work, Brew." So I like it. Ora et labora et brew.
Is that what it says?
No.
That would be funny.
Ora
et labora et brew.
Yeah. And I know that Joe is sitting. Oh yeah, you can pour a little bit for Juan here. He's sitting out listening to us. He's just finished his Knights of Columbus. He's with Vinny and a couple other guys. I think they're watching us, so shout out to them.
Yeah.
Oh, Hector Molina is here.
Hook Jim up with some of this.
Yeah, here you go, Jimbo. I got a chance to. Hey, if you guys don't know, Hector does a live stream on Sundays to go over the Gospels, the readings. He does a phenomenal job. He's one of the best.
Yeah.
So make sure you follow him, like his stuff, because he's great. So anyway, we're on the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So raise your glass.
Cheers to Jesus.
Cheers. Thank you, Joe, and to Grant. Thank you for getting us this beer.
That is delicious.
It's a quad ale. I don't know if I said that.
That is my. That's my.
Your speed?
Yeah, that is my speed. That's the street that I live on.
Yeah, I like it too. It tastes.
I could drink this beer every day.
Yes, it tastes.
Rain or shine,
I
hot
like
or cold.
The quad ales are always a win for me.
I mean, I've said it before. I remember when I found like the triple. Like, ooh, a Belgian triple.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm a triple guy. And then the next, in fact, here's the story. My parents got me like a beer sampling. It was beer that was all brewed by monks from like around the world.
Uh-huh.
And so one of them was, this is years ago, one of them a triple, and I was like, that is what I'm talking about. New favorite beer. I'm triples all the way. Don't even try to tell me about other stuff because I'm a triple man.
Right.
And then the next one I pulled out was a quad. And I was like, I don't even know what triples are.
Don't even care about triples anymore. Yeah.
Triples. Quads till I die.
Nice.
Yeah, and I still am, really.
Well, last year we had it from Broken Arrow Brewing. We had a quad ale and at the camp out.
Yeah.
And it was delicious. It was the first one to go. Speaking of the camp out.
Speaking of.
We have only 9 spots left.
Maybe 8.
Maybe 8 at this point. And it's only been open for a week. So if you're wanting to come, make sure you sign up. Once the spots are done, they're
done.
With
speed. Make haste.
Yes.
Make haste.
Go to CatholicManShow.com. You can sign up there.
Look for the camp out link.
Yeah. So anyway.
And put your name down. Please also, if you're going to sign up, please don't just throw a spot down like maybe I want to come, because
that's true.
We do have limited spots available, and we want people who are committed to coming to
also
sign up.
we got to pay for the food, so
Right.
it's really hard to plan and organize when we think there's 60 people and then it turns out there's only 40 people.
Right. Yeah. So if you're going to sign up, please intend to come.
Yeah.
Great.
Good.
So
sorry.
You said this is not nuns brewing this beer.
No.
That would be awesome, though.
That would be awesome.
I don't know of any nuns that brew beer. Do you?
Not off the top of my head.
Are you privy to any?
I'm not.
If there was a nunnery that wanted to do that, I'm pretty sure they could promote themselves as the only nuns brewing beer.
I bet they'd be good at it too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, it's not these days. It doesn't seem hard to make good
a lot
beer.
Of people are doing
it's just Google it and make the beer.
Yeah.
You'd have to do it right and stuff, but that would be awesome. Someone should do that. Someone listening
should pull the trigger on that.
Yeah.
What books are you reading right now?
Well, I just picked up a book, a Peepster book, actually.
No kidding? This was not planned. I had no idea you did this.
No, well, I got it at the monastery. Their gatehouse is the best.
Right,
they have the best book selection. I mean, it's incredible. It's on the something of language.
The abusive language.
Yeah, the abusive language.
His essay on the abusive language.
Yeah, it's very short.
I just finished it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So I'm reading that.
You're going to be reading it and be like, this is happening today. This is happening today. This is happening today. Every page is
I don't doubt it. I'm also just starting a book. Pamela is kind of finishing it right now, and I'm starting. It's called He Leadeth Me. It's about a Jesuit priest back in World War II, I believe.
I know this one.
Who was in the Gulag camps over in Russia for years and years and years, and then came back. So I'm just starting that. I can't tell you much about it because
you just started it.
I've read chapter 1.
Oh, okay, nice.
But Pamela has been reading it, just going oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So it seems pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, I'm reading a Peepster book as well. Joseph Pieper's. He's the Love and Contemplation. Right now is what I'm reading. And I also have his anthropology. Yeah. His like a bunch of his essays and stuff that I've kind of been cherry picking out, reading a little bit here, a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been reading that. And then I just started a new audiobook. I just started it this weekend. It's a Bill O'Reilly book. You know, he does all those killing series, you know, the Killing Jesus, Killing Kennedy, Killing.
Yeah.
So I started another one of those this weekend, which I really like.
One book, the audiobook I just finished was the Narnia. It's the first one, not chronologically, but it's like the first one in the series, not the first one he wrote.
Okay.
Yeah, the Magician's Nephew. Thank you, Juan. And it was incredible. I loved it. I mean, all the Narnia books are good, you know, but I had read it as a kid. My parents read it to me, you know, when I was a kid. I didn't remember anything about it.
Yeah.
But man, it was amazing. I cannot recommend that book enough. Just because you get to see the creation of Narnia, and so you get to really see some of like the foundations of the allegory that Lewis is trying to paint. And it's so beautiful the way he can take this, like the profound truths of God, and translate it into this analogy, you know, into this allegory. Like one of the things that I liked the most was when, you know, he takes all the animals are created and he takes some of them and gives them the ability to speak, gives them intelligence and a rational soul. And what he says is, Narnians, I give you yourselves. Like that's what Aslan says to them. And it's just like a very cool line, very cool thing to say.
Anthology, not anthropology. I think he said anthropology. Anthology.
Yeah. Anthology is different from anthropology.
Yes.
It's a totally different store.
I'm pretty tired this evening. Apologize.
Yeah.
So when we get back, Man Gear?
Yes.
We'll be right back. As I was saying that, I was like, that is not correct.
But did you see Pamela?
Yeah, I saw Pamela bailed me out.
Well, I didn't know, like, I thought you meant anthropology, like this, like a study of man, kind of.
As I was saying, is like, nope, that's not right. But
do you mean discography?
Yeah. It's just like a lot of his writings compiled to one. Some of his best writings compiled into one. Cool. So thank you, Pamela, for doing that.
Yeah, anthology is not. It's a much bigger store. So it's harder to find what you're looking for. Anthropology is like, you know, a little bit more.
I think that you're making like a joke.
It's a dumb joke.
That's what I was afraid of that.
It's a very nerd thing to say. I think that you're making a joke.
I'm sorry. I told you. I'm very tired. Like I'm very tired. Sorry. Well, is the Man Gear what I think it is?
It's the house itself. What do you think it was?
Oh,
because I'm willing to change.
I thought it was gonna be that tractor water sprinkler.
Oh no.
Okay.
So there's actually a sister Doris Engelhard in Germany. Her abbey brews 80,000 gallons of Bavarian beer each year.
Nice.
Bring it to me. I need it. Bedtime for you, Adam.
Yeah, I know. Apparently. All right, let's keep rolling.
I'm ready. I think. Therefore, I am.
Oh, I was gonna say too.
Why did I jinx?
It's just not accurate.
I taught my daughter what jinx was. I was like, then you get a wish. I guess you get to get.
That's risky.
Pagan.
Whatever. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles, here with Adam Minahan. We're drinking some really, 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 really good beer. It's a Belgian quad. Anytime those words appear in the description of a beer, you know it's going to be good. Especially if they appear together. If the words barrel aged appears before or after them, it is the trifecta. That is
Yes.
that is the beer I hope to be drinking when I die.
That is a good
Like
one.
if I could be drinking that the moment of my death would be like a very blessed consolation.
Pray for happy death.
Yeah.
St. Joseph, pray for us.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
So, Adam, I just want to reiterate that if at any point during this episode, if I fall asleep, I want you to just
So we're both in this.
just poke me.
Okay.
And I will promise to do the same for you.
Okay. Good.
I feel like my eyes are bleeding. Combination of chlorine from the swimming pool and just like a lack of sleep over the last several days.
Yeah. The thing about it is, as we do a podcast every week. We do this is the radio show, so we're required to do a show every week for the radio. And the thing about it is, sometimes you're not necessarily in the mood to be doing one.
Yeah. And
but you still get to do
come
one.
Out, you show up and you pretend to be happy, and you do a show, and you're like, I cannot wait to get out of here. Like, I know we're all friends, but I just don't like you guys today. It's not you. It's me.
It's definitely me. Yeah.
But all the same, please make it stop.
But we'll be okay.
No. But I don't feel that way today. Today,
good.
I feel really tired, and my eyes hurt. That's how I feel today. The man gear today is going to bleed into the topic. It's a bleeding man gear.
Okay.
Sort of like my eyes.
Okay.
So the man gear is the house, just your house. And I just want to talk about something we've kind of talked about before, just about the state that it's in. And what should, what is the attitude one should adopt, the man should adopt, in pursuit of the outward appearance of his home?
I like this topic because I am...
Everything from the yard to how well decorated,
taking pride in what you own.
Right, exactly. That kind of thing. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I grew up, my father always had the yard in pristine condition. We always had nice flower beds, very straight edged yard.
Yeah.
Bagged, so there was no clumps of grass. That's just how we grew up. Mm-hmm. My dad always took pride in the landscape, the outside of the home, the curb appeal, if you will. He always made sure that the curb appeal looked nice, not only for our family, but also for the neighbors, out of respect for the neighbors.
Right.
And so,
because when you all do that, it makes your
houses look
more
nice,
valuable.
Yeah,
people want to pay more for your houses when you sell them.
Right. And so I've adopted that as well. That is something that
there is an element of courtesy there, like keeping your yard mowed. Because if you let your yard get like a foot tall, then it has the appeal of making the neighborhood look trashy.
Well, and so
has the appeal, it has the effect.
The effect.
Did I say appeal?
I'm not sure.
Whatever I said, I meant effect.
And we're, as Catholics, you're supposed to stand out from society. We're obviously carrying each other. We're carrying ourselves differently than a lot of other people.
Right.
And you're going to be intentional. And so I think that carries over into the things that you own and the things that God has given you, the blessings that God has given you.
But even if everybody else is doing it, this is still the right thing to do.
Sure. I know. I agree.
So one thing that I dealt with as a single man, I bought the house that I live in now as a bachelor.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Yeah. I was very proud of myself for buying a house that
I was too.
To me live in. It was so funny. I used to have all the upstairs rooms vacuumed. And you know how when you go forward with the vacuum, the carpet is kind of one color, and you come back and it's like
darker,
nice, rich color.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically had gone into what is now the playroom and painted the whole floor. There's nothing in there. It's just a big room with carpet. And I'd painted the whole floor. So it was like all of it was just nothing but that rich, dark color. Mm-hmm. And every now and then I'd open the door and just look at it. It still looks good. Looking good. It's all dusty, but don't touch it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, things are different now.
With 4 kids. The playroom is a little bit different now.
It's very played in. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I was dealing with this thing I've got a nice house. Much nicer than I think I would deserve. And I was, updating stuff or, putting my own stuff in it. Mm-hmm. And was kind of running into this, what was a problem for me at first of, do I really want to put nice things in my house? Like, oh, is that selfish of me to like pursue having a nice house? You know, is that a lack of modesty? And so I was really meditating on that. And like at one point I realized like, well, this isn't even really my house. It's really God's house. He gave it to me. He has given me everything that I own, all my talents, abilities, possessions, my family. And I am really the steward of all of these things. And so if it's his house, then yeah, I want to make it as nice as possible because it's God's house and I'm taking care of it. Okay. And so like that, when I like kind of adopted that attitude, it totally changed. I didn't have any scruples over like presenting the things that I owned well.
Right.
Because I wanted to present them to him well, since he's the one who gave them to me. Sort of like the talents, the master leaves and gives the talents and like, I buried it and it's, I know I want to take the things he's given me and do the best I can with them. Not for my own glory, but for his.
Well, and I also think I go back to like, okay, so what does the Holy Family look like? And so I just have I envisioned that Saint Joseph made sure that the house looked nice. He was a man of work. He was a man of diligence. He was a man of, he made sure that he was focused on what his job was supposed to be. And so I just feel like Saint Joseph would have his house in order, and obviously the Blessed Virgin Mary would as well.
Right.
Let me ask you this:
no squeaky doors in his house.
No. Let me ask you this: I was reading it was a book by a priest. I can't even remember his name, but he talked about how the home is supposed to be a school of reverence.
Yeah.
Okay, and so he was talking about how as a father, we're supposed to have the school of reverence is at threefold: the reverence of God, the reverence of parents, and then the reverence of God, reverence of parents, and then reverence of woman.
Okay,
those were the three schools that that there's three levels of reverence within the home.
Yeah, I dig it.
And he brought it back to the Holy Family as well. Like within the Holy Family, the domestic church, the domestic church that we could all model ourselves after, they had the reverence of God, obviously, and then Jesus obviously had the reverence of his parents.
Yeah,
and the respect of authority of his parents. And
Jesus might be a bad example to use here because,
divine.
obviously he was God and was perfect in all things.
Right, but and then the reverence of woman, though, I think is a very interesting thing.
Right. Yeah, I was like thinking, reverence of each other maybe is going to be the third one. Yeah,
but reverence of woman,
I do think women should be reverenced.
Yes,
I think there's probably more than three reverences, schools of reverence.
Sure, but I mean that's what he.
But those are definitely a big three.
And those are what he was bringing to the forefront of this topic of making sure that the house was a reverence, a school of reverence in the home, and it made me think also of Venerable Fulton Sheen's quote that says, if society has neglected authority, it's only because they neglected authority in the home first.
Yeah.
And so it made me think, I mean, look at today. There's no respect for authority today in society. But that had to be a breakdown within the domestic church.
Right. Yeah, well, it's absent fathers created that, it's not that people aren't being learned, they're not learning to respect the father. The father's just not there. So, I mean, of course, they're not learning to respect the father because he's gone,
Right. And they don't have the example of respecting the woman because the dad isn't there.
Right.
That's a big key, right? It's like
because who's going to enforce it?
Then the man's not going to know how to even respect a woman if he doesn't have an example.
The authority has been, the head authority is gone from the household.
Right.
But just with your stuff, with your house,
Sorry, I took us off.
No, that was a good tangent. Of all the tangents, that was a good one.
That was a decent one.
Adam, of all the tangents we've ever had, that was definitely one of them. It was
good.
Definitely one of them.
Yes, most definitely.
So I just want to say this about your house. Your house is think about what if it was gone? How much would you miss it? A lot. Okay? And not that if you don't take care of it, God's going to take it away from you. That's not what I'm saying, but he did give you this big, big gift. That is a true gift, and there are just millions, and millions and hundreds of millions of people in this world who do not have one, especially the ones that we have here in America. It is absolutely a privilege to have one, and we should take care of them out of honor and respect for Him. We should take care of these gifts that we've been given.
Do you think it boils down to like also the virtue of decorum? Does decorum?
It is the virtue of decorum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is that. But it's just the attitude behind it. I think that's the right attitude, because when you have a house that's very nice and well put together, and things are honored in the right proportions, like you've got the statue of Mary. If you have a really beautiful house, the statue of Mary stands out more. You know what I'm saying?
Your home altar stands out more.
Exactly. I mean, everything about just a well-ordered home, which we're going to talk about, puts things in the right perspective, and ultimately God receives more glory from having a well-ordered, well-maintained household.
Well, not only does God receive more glory, but your family will thrive more when there's order within the family.
Which is a good, but not as good as
absolutely.
The highest good is glorifying God, right? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, anyway, we're going to talk more about this.
I'm not trying to triple stamp a double stamp.
I thought you were.
I know.
But I guess you're not.
No.
Okay.
Good.
I'll let it slide.
Should we get a refill before your next segment?
Ain't no refill.
We don't have refills.
Well, I mean, like something else. I know you don't.
Oh, I mean, just like something else. I mean, Juan's over here like, well, we'll just like keep drinking.
Yeah, pour some of that whiskey in my beer.
Well, here,
you got any whiskey Slurpees from Sonic? Apparently, that's what I drink.
Yeah, that was so funny. That was so awesome. I think he may be coming to the camp out.
Who?
Father Cosgrove.
Father Cosgrove. Do you think he would care if I read that on air? Like, just right now? I didn't ask him.
I don't think he would mind.
I'm going to just give
I
this
don't
to
have
Juan.
any beer.
I'm going to give that to Juan.
I don't have
any beer?
I took all my beer over to my dad's house today.
That was a mistake.
I was trying to share it. Turns out I didn't. I didn't share any of it. Well, my wife actually had some, but I drank it all.
Okay. Well, still, it was a mistake. You should always save some for me.
Right. I'm sorry.
At your house.
I'm sorry about that.
I thought that we had been over this. Really?
I'm just grabbing this because this is what I'm going to drink later.
That stuff was so good.
Yeah, that is so good.
The Glen Scotia.
Yes.
Well, one, you're not getting any of this. Yeah.
That is rude. That is rude.
2 swallows left.
He drinks
One,
all his.
you can look at it and.
First, he drinks all of his own beer.
No, you can look. No smelling.
Don't do it. It's stupid.
I say we keep going.
Well, I want one to finish this first. We'll just finish. It's short. Just keep reading.
Yeah,
keep reading it.
I was there.
Father Cosgrove had this dream, and I was in it. It was super. It's a very vivid, crazy dream.
I gotta shout out Fabian and his
Fabian?
Fabian.
Fabian?
Fabian. Man, I don't. This is the problem whenever I am tired. I don't have all my stuff together. I don't have all the names.
Names are not your strong suit anyway. Like
they're not. I'm always like. Anyway, his group.
What?
He invited me. I'm sorry. What?
Especially in another language.
No.
Especially in another language. Yeah.
Right.
He invited me to talk with his Bible study group, and they were just awesome. They were an awesome group of people.
Holy men, huh?
Holy and women. Yeah, it was great.
Oh, okay, great.
It was not just a man and woman.
I like holy both. It's both and.
It's a both and thing.
It's very Catholic.
Sorry, man. I'm struggling tonight. But you know what I mean. And shout out to all your guys.
Isn't that hilarious?
Isn't that funny? Funny, yeah.
Told you.
Hopefully, when he comes back, hopefully he comes to the camp out, and whenever he does, we may be able to record with him again.
Totally, I want to do that. I want to do that.
Actually, I'll tell this on the air. This would be better.
Hey, Fabian is here. He's commenting. Did he say your name right, Mr. Torres?
Probably not.
No,
Fabian.
Fabian.
Anne. Fabian.
Yeah. You want a hot dog?
This is how
Fabian.
when I'm trying to pronounce Haile.
Yeah, it's Haley, not Haile. It's not Haile Scotch. It's Haley. Juan calls my wife Haile.
You got to really the trick is to really like sink into the vowels. Haley, like just like really get into them.
No, not Hailey. Hey.
That's my name for her.
Hey.
Yeah, I know. That's just what he calls her.
Like, what if you said H-E-Y, hey, and then you're talking to a guy named Lee.
Hey Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Hey, Lee.
Hey Lee.
Like, what if you saw Bruce Lee and you're like, hey, Lee.
I would say, sup Lee.
Well, you should call Haley Supply then.
That would not work.
Sup bro.
Let's continue. Let us continue.
Let it be so. I want to smell it. Just let me smell it.
Okay. Rude.
That would have been funny.
But also
would have not have been moderate.
No.
So I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Sometimes virtue isn't funny.
No. And sometimes the lack of it is, but, well, only in a fallen world.
Right.
This is you. This is you. You're bringing us in.
All right. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. Did I do it? Did I bring us back? Was that good enough?
Yeah, I think you can just, it's our show, so you just do what you want.
You get to do what I want.
There are no rules.
Cool. Hey, can I give an announcement?
No, actually, that is against the rules.
I'm going to give an announcement.
I will change the rules, though, just for you.
Thank you. We're going to have Carlo Broussard on the Catholic Man Show.
The Cajun Uncaging the Truth.
The Cajun Uncaging the Truth. Next month. We got it solidified. We got it locked in. So Carlo Broussard will be on the Catholic Man Show yet again. He's done, like, every time he's been on the show, I've been like, can we just do 3 more shows?
He blows my mind.
He's awesome. He's so
He's got a very beautiful head.
Well, he's
you know
he's so underrated.
But when you see his head in person,
the dude is incredibly smart.
I know, but would you let me talk about his head?
Okay, go ahead.
Like, he's got a nice round head, and he takes good care of it, and it's just like, you know what? Of all the heads I've seen, that's one of the better ones.
That is one of them.
That's a nice head.
Okay. Well, anyway,
keep going.
We're gonna have a chance to talk with Carlo Broussard next month. Super excited.
I am also very excited about this.
And he's gonna be in
person.
person.
He is underrated, big time.
Big time. He's brilliant. He's super smart, very Thomistic. Everything like that I want to be.
But also, like, I feel like in the last couple years, he's made huge. I mean, he's
progress.
been like, he's been dedicated and to his studies, and like,
I called him last week and I was like, "Hey man, what's going on? What are you doing?" He's like, "Just studying, bro."
Yeah.
And I was like, "What do you mean you're studying?" It's part of my job. I'm studying.
Just becoming a better human being.
Yeah, just being better. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I was eating a hot dog.
Yeah. Is it all beef? I don't. I know. I think it's one of those.
What does Quick Trip offer?
Fake
I don't know.
ones or...
Anyway, okay. So what's the topic? We're talking about the home.
Oh yeah. We have a topic today. So
yes.
I want to talk about your home because your home, on like a natural level, is like the definition of holiness.
Okay.
On a natural level, not a supernatural level, but on a natural level, it is the definition of holiness. Holiness, comes from the word sanctus, which means to be set apart. And that's exactly what your household does. Everything, that's specifically, in fact, that's kind of all it does. It achieves like a natural holiness. It sets things apart. From the very beginning.
Okay, I can see that.
The first thing it does is set this place, like the foundation.
Have walls.
Like, all right, this is a home, and we're setting it apart from the rest of the world. Like, this place is different from the rest of the world because this is places for Adam and his family. Okay? So that is like setting apart is the primary function of your home. So there is like a natural holiness to the house. The actual building of the house.
That's interesting. I've never thought about it that way.
Right. So I read a book years ago called Hallowed Be This House by Thomas.
That was better than I did.
Something.
Tomas, actually.
Tomas.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, if I think my wife is watching, I'm sure she will tell me Thomas something.
Okay.
Lady Pamela will tell me, and I'll tell you. But the house is it's fascinating because it is set apart. And it's important to talk about this aspect of domestic living because Christ himself did it for 30 years. 91% of his life was spent living in the home, doing the normal, ordinary, day-to-day things. Because everything that happens in the home is very ordinary. And you think, like, oh, that's just nothing significant. But I want to just talk about it because that's not the case. And I just want to encourage people to think about their day-to-day things. A lot of my goals in life is just to get people to use their brain and think about stuff that they're not thinking about. This is one of those days. I'm doing it today on this episode. High five. Okay. So, the house has walls. Very ordinary for a house to have walls. Just like think about what your house would be like if it didn't have walls.
Be very awkward.
It would be very strange.
It's a canopy more than a house.
Yeah, it would be like living in a 2-story gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be very funny. You'd be doing stuff like taking showers at midnight when the neighbors weren't watching. Like trying to figure out how to heat the home, how do you keep the raccoons out of your kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Basic, just basic no wall stuff. But we do have walls. So the walls are maybe the most important part of the house because what they do is they give boundaries for the life and function of the house. So they say the walls tell us where we rest and where we work. They also have a way of bestowing dignity and honor on specific family tasks. And what I mean by that is they will set aside a room, the dining room, the formal dining room. Like a lot of houses have a formal dining room. And it's like, how many times do you go in there every year? I don't know. Like some people would say 0. I mean, you walk through it maybe. You go in there to like put your junk. I mean, a lot of formal dining rooms turn into like the place where you store boxes. I do crafting in there or something. But people who use them even don't go in there very often. Yet they still have them, and you still kind of want a formal dining room. You'll spend all of this money. Here in Tulsa, I ran some numbers, okay? So the average home here in Tulsa is the average person will spend about $22,000 on their formal dining room, just based on the average home price and the average size of the formal dining room, because it's about 14 by 16 on average. So that's a lot of money to spend on a room you don't use. Yet we still have it. Why? Because dining, eating together, sharing a meal as a family is so important that when we say, I will set aside a room, I will set apart, this idea of holiness being set apart, a room in my house that is only for eating. It is only for dining. What does that do? It honors and glorifies and dignifies eating together. It gives this family task the honor that it deserves. Okay, so the walls of your house, it's like most people don't think about this, but the walls of your house are going around bestowing honor on the things that you do day to day. Okay, so that's just like...
It changes the activity that you do as well.
Yeah, it does. And so not all houses are created equal, obviously. This is just my personal preference. I'm not a big fan of open floor plans where you go into the house and like it's just like a huge open space. It's really great for entertaining, because you can fit a lot of people in there. I get why people want them. Mm-hmm. And I think there are certain compromises you can make with those. Like, still, if you can find a way to set apart a certain space, because even in those open floor plans, it's like obviously you put the table here because it's tile here, it's carpet over there.
Sure.
That's obviously the living room. So like if you can do something to like arrange things so that there's still a boundary that's created, you can still achieve the same effect, I think, sort of. But having rooms, walls separated, the household itself is designed to honor and facilitate the function of the family life. So what I'd like to do is just kind of go through some of the rooms.
Okay.
And Adam, just jump in, ask me questions, and I'll make up answers as we go along.
Okay.
And it'll be great.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's talk about the bedroom.
Very normal. Very normal episode.
Very normal us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like this. This is going to be good.
The bedroom.
Yes.
One of the things I didn't say about the walls that I need to say before we talk about the bedroom is that walls create exclusivity. Okay? They keep people out. You say, this is only Adam's house. And you might think like, oh, you have these walls outside your house. and a door that like locks.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that's not very welcoming. You're not. It's very exclusive. Like, why don't you just open up to the world and share yourself? Be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
What are you hiding behind? But the bedroom is the most exclusive.
Right, because you could have an invitation into my house, but that doesn't mean you have an invitation into the master bedroom.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right. So if you go over there, you're like walking around. Sometimes that happens. You're just checking the place out. You're trying to find the bathroom or something.
Sure. But
you're just looking around. It would be, everybody knows you can't just like waltz into the master bedroom.
Right.
Okay, because you just don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But why? It's because the master bedroom is very exclusive. A lot of important events take place in the bedroom, especially historically. These days people are rarely born at home, but historically speaking, you would be conceived, born, and die in the bedroom. So the bedroom kind of represents the bookends of life. It represents some of the most joy-filled moments and the most sorrowful moments of a person's life. But I think what is most important is that it really is a symbol of someone's entire life and their vocation. Okay, because it is in the bedroom that you consummate the vows that you made at the altar. And the bed itself is an altar. And I think it's important to just point out that it's not the sleeping room, it's the bedroom. And in fact, a lot of the rooms, if you think about them, are named very, very well. The living room, it's not like the sitting room, it's the living room, because you do more than just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the dining room isn't the eating room, because dining there's a lot more than eating when you dine.
Mm-hmm.
The bedroom is not the sleeping room, even though that's what you do there. Really,
Mm-hmm.
it's the bedroom. And so I just think that it's kind of a key into how we should interpret the role of this room.
Well, and it's life-giving.
Yes.
Right, the master bedroom, the bedroom is life-giving.
Right.
It's the bread of life at the altar in our church is kind of replicates the life-giving of being at home.
Literally.
Mm-hmm. Which is why we have our pray-do right at the foot of our bed.
I like it.
We'll be right back.
Okay, so we got a lot to get through. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Well, let's do it. Let's just keep rolling.
No, wait.
What's wrong?
This guy is really going to focus.
What is?
Adam is a little bit out of focus in it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I'm a little out of focus here.
Boom. Boom.
Boom. That'll work.
Do I still look okay, though? That's the question.
What's wrong, Juan? The other one is as well?
Yes, David, move the angle a little bit.
Yeah, how come I'm barely in it? This isn't supposed to be all about me.
This is David Cam. We got this, Margot.
Is that better there?
That is
We
good.
got this. We can do this.
Did my lovely wife ever tell me?
Yes, she did. She responded to it.
I didn't see it, and it's not here. Like when I leave the
Right.
live stream.
Thomas Howard.
Thomas Howard. I'll say it when I get back.
Okay.
When I get back.
Let's keep it rolling, Juan, before
Hurry, before I forget.
We got this. This could be the best segment that we've ever done on the Catholic Man Show.
Wow. Maybe. I don't think so.
It's your segment.
I don't think so. I think it'll be good. Welcome back to the Catholic Man Show. I'm David Niles, here with Adam Minahan, Juan Posada, and Jimbo Baggins. He loves it when I say that. He pretends like he doesn't, but I know deep down.
We should make a shirt that says Jimbo Baggins with his face on it and Jimbo Baggins.
I love it.
That's something I should have told you when he's not here, and we should have done.
Oh, great.
One, you just cut us all off.
I'm pretty sure the people can still hear me.
Yeah, people can still hear us, but we can't hear ourselves. So that's something I definitely should have.
Don't worry, I fixed it.
Good deal.
I fixed it. Okay, so we're talking about the bedroom. We got a lot to get through here in this.
Okay, let's keep going. Let's go.
Okay, so the bedroom is also exclusive because it is on the bed, which we talked about. It's where you consummate your vows you made at the altar. The bed itself is an altar, if you think about it.
That's what I was trying to get to at the very end of this last segment, and I just
couldn't. The bed itself is an altar, and it's where you say that I have set myself apart from all others, that I might be exclusively yours. Okay, so this element of exclusivity is at the heart of everything about the bedroom, and that's why you can't go in there, because it's sort of like it's the inner sanctuary of the old Jewish temple. Right. Only the high priest can enter here. And so the bedroom has a lot of, it's like that's your vocation. It's the heart of the home. It's what made the family, literally. Okay, so we're not gonna have time to talk about all the rooms, but let's go to the kitchen next.
Well, I like the kitchen. The
kitchen, everybody knows, one of the most important rooms in the household. If the kitchen is not functioning properly, chaos will rule.
Ensue.
It will be in charge of everything. People will be grumpy, starving. It'll be bad.
Hangry.
It'll be hangry, right? Okay, and if something is not working, let's just say hypothetically your dishwasher hasn't worked for a month. Just throwing that out there.
John Sr. would be proud of you.
I'm just saying hypothetically, not saying this is at all the situation in my house.
Right.
Even though it might be the situation in my house. It can just cause a backlog of when the dishes are building up and it's
John Sr. would be proud.
I know. That's why I haven't fixed it, you know. But anyway, the kitchen is the servant of the household. Because one of the things about the kitchen is that everything that's done there is for something else. The kitchen is always about the other. It's other focused.
The end is for others.
Right. Okay. So the kitchen does all the work. The dining room gets all the glory. Okay. So and it teaches us to be a servant. The kitchen does, and it's the only room in the house that is completely about is other focused.
Teaches me how to not to be hungry.
Right.
That's what it does for me.
Where's a beer?
Yeah.
It's in the kitchen. I love that place. Okay. So that's the most important thing about the kitchen is that it's oriented towards other things.
Okay.
And each room kind of is ordered towards another. And they all, in my opinion, well, all except for one, but the household on a natural level is all oriented towards the dining room, in my opinion. Okay, so just naturally, biologically, you have these strong walls so that you have a secure place to sleep, so that you have a place to store your food where it won't be stolen or eaten or get soaking wet, so that you can wake up and eat again. You can continue surviving. You can continue living. The household, the food might grow outside, but you want to bring it inside so you can keep it and keep eating. All of the rooms in the house are oriented towards the dining room. And so just on a strictly, like I said, just a strictly biological level, that's true. But the dining room really is a key room. And in my opinion, when it comes to just the way the family works, and especially with young children, if you cannot get behavior at the dining room right, at the table, if you can't get table behavior,
manners,
then you will not get if you can't get obedience at the table, you won't get obedience anywhere else. Everything comes back to the table, I think.
Okay.
I'm not a psychologist. That's just kind of the way I see it. So it's very important to have good table manners so that your children know how to respect adults and be respectful to each other outside of the table.
Okay.
But at the table, we gather to consummate. We were consummating in the bedroom. Once again, we are
not we, but
right. In theory, Adam, don't do that. Okay, it makes it weird when you do that. But once again, we are consummating at the dinner table, or you might say we're consuming at the dinner table, but we're consummating the life given of another. So every room in the house is the same message. I lay down my life for yours. Okay? So it doesn't matter what room it is, every single one says this. And the dinner table says it very, very well. So whether it's the life of the cow, the corn, or the chef, the farmer, it's at the dinner table you come and consummate the life of another laid down. Think about how many lives have been laid down, whether, in the kitchen, someone gave up their time, their efforts to prepare the meal. I mean, that's just like what happened 10 minutes before you eat it. Mm-hmm. Think about all of the people who worked so hard to grow. I mean, it's like there have been many, many, many lives laid down. And don't forget about the cow, okay?
Sure. Right.
Because he literally laid his life. I mean, we killed that guy.
Right.
And praise be Jesus for it. Mm-hmm. So at the dining table, we come together in order to celebrate this mantra of love, like I lay down my life for yours. It's all of these lives laid down point towards this moment. So because it's so life-giving, literally. We're doing this to stay alive. We're doing it together, but there's also like more, it's more than that. They say you don't know someone until you share a meal together. And there's just like you do know someone, almost like in the biblical sense, not in a sexual way, but like in a interpersonal way. No, it's like we've sat down across, we've looked at each other, we've eaten. There's a mystical, holy thing that takes place at the dinner table. So I really lament over families who don't eat dinner together, who allow their children to eat dinner in their room by themselves and play video games or whatever.
Right.
The rules at the dinner table are no devices, and we eat together. You're dismissed when you're dismissed. Mm-hmm. I mean, like you're a child. You must be excused from the table. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's the rule. So,
and it's always good to bookend dinner meals with prayer. You start with prayer, you end with prayer.
Right. But it's like it's Eucharistic. This is where heaven comes down into the home. Adam and Eve, they pulled the fruit from They pulled the fruit from the tree and fell. Okay. Well, Jesus, in order to rectify that, raised himself up on a cross. He hung himself on a tree and became our food. It's the food that satisfies us, because the fruit that Adam and Eve ate, of course, that's not going to satisfy. But it is only Christ who does. And so he became our food and consummated his own life on the cross. So this, I know that kind of sounds like high language and like, wow, you're really making a big deal about dinner. But like, that's really, in some way, what's taking place at the dinner table. It is Eucharistic, because we're giving thanks, all these things. I want to get to the last room that we want to talk about, because the living room is the most important room in the house.
Well, you just told me the dining room was. Everything was pointing towards the dining room.
No, I said biologically, on a natural level, the whole household is ordered towards the living room.
Okay, sorry.
But
I wasn't listening properly.
Yeah. So that's only on a natural level.
Gotcha.
Okay. So what makes the living room is so unique, because what do you do there?
You live.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's hard to say. It's kind of a catch-all for all the stuff that doesn't have a specific room.
I'll tell you what we used to do: watch TV.
Right.
But we got rid of our TV.
High five.
So we don't do that anymore.
John Senior's proud of you.
Yes. That's twice in one episode. John Senior would be proud of us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's why I think the TV kind of has killed the living room.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, I really hope that people have a room in their house, like a formal, some people have formal living rooms, or something. I hope you have at least one room in your house that does not have a television in it. A sitting room that's designed for like just being together.
Leisure.
That's just designed for leisure, so that you can have, because when you put a television in the house, it ruins the furniture. Now all of a sudden all the furniture points towards the television instead of like facing each other, right?
Or fireplace.
It no longer facilitates conversation, right? Or gathering around the hearth. But the living room is unique because it is the only room in the house ordered towards the person. Every other room is ordered towards the body. Every other room in the house, the bathroom, the living room, every single room is ordered towards the body, designed to facilitate a biological necessity. The living room is ordered towards the person. The living room is the only room in the house that says, we as a family, it is so good for us to be together that we have created a room just for being together. It's almost like adoration of the family. You go to adoration, why? Just to be with Christ. Because you love him.
Sure.
And you go just to waste time with him. And the living room does the same thing, facilitates that same holy function among the family. So if we have a television in the living room, that's okay. Maybe that's just the best spot for you to have a television, But if that's all you do in the living room, you're abusing it. The living room is for each other. It's not the theater room. The living room is for just being together as a family. That we would just sit and gather around the hearth. If you want an entertaining evening, instead of turning the television on, light a fire. I promise you, lighting a fire is more entertaining than turning on the television. And like, if you're a dad who's got like kids, like I'm not sure if they're going to buy into that, just do it. Light a fire. It's going to be getting cold soon. Light a fire 3 days in a row, and you watch. I guarantee they will all end up in that room because there is something magnetic about fire. So the living room is so important. We should make sure that we design it, order it properly so that it can fulfill the holy and dignified role that it is made to do, so that we are being together as a family. Well, we'll say a little bit. I want to put a little bit of a bow on that. I mean, I think we got through it all, but I do want to wrap it up a little bit for our YouTube listeners.
Okay, cool. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel. You'll catch the end of it like you do on most of our episodes. So, more of the Lord's team.
The winning side.
So, raise your glass.
And cheers to Jesus. We're still rolling.
Our number two option was the bathroom, but we went with the living room instead.
I feel like you're making a joke. I think you're making some kind of joke.
Naughty joke.
Oh, I did talk about the book. Did I say Howard? Did I come back? I never said it was Howard.
I was going to tell you, but you weren't in such a role.
Her ladyship is not going to be pleased. I didn't even... She came through for me. I didn't even do it.
You didn't even thank her.
I know. Thank you, Lady Pamela. So I did just like... There's just so much to say about the living room. It's also the school of charity. The living room is where you learn to be charitable, because it's the room where you learn to govern yourself. All of the other rooms have rules. There aren't like a specific set of rules for the living room, because because it's kind of fulfills this catch-all function. For instance, let's compare it to the dining room. At the dinner table, there are very specific rules. There's like a script you must follow. It's like, if you're going to speak, this is why you would speak, and this is what you would say. This is how you would say it. Like, if you're going to speak, it's because you need someone to pass you the food. Okay, well, if you're going to pass you the food, this is how you do it, and this is what you say. You say, Adam, please pass the green beans. And it's like, we will sit here. You will sit in this place for a specific length of time. The things that you can do are so limited. In the living room, there's no rules like that. So you have to learn to govern yourself in the right way. So you kind of take the things you learn at the table about how to be respectful to one another and apply them. It's kind of like a free-for-all in the living room. Okay, so you have to learn. You learn charity in this room. And what we were talking about right when we end. Oh, it's just good for us to be together. You can really meditate on that for a long time about what that means, like the consequences of the family just simply being. But the living room is, Adam, something you said earlier in the episode is for leisure, holy leisure. It's only when you have fulfilled the necessities of the day. I've done all the work.
Get to sit in the living room.
I've done the work that needs to be done. I've eaten. I have checked off the necessities. Now I have time for leisure.
Mm-hmm.
And you go to the living room. So,
man, you know what? I think that the school of charity, the living room is the school of charity. Isn't that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
It also, the school of hospitality would be the guest room. Making sure to have
I have not given any thought to a guest room.
Well, I hadn't either until I was sitting here thinking like, okay, well, what other room have we not discussed? And like a guest bedroom would be one.
Yeah. Well, almost every room in the house is ordered also towards hospitality. I mean,
but what I'm saying is like, so I have 4 kids. I got 3 boys and a girl, and I only have 3 bedrooms upstairs. And then we have the studio. So I have 4 bedrooms, but one's the studio.
Right.
And so, but I intentionally make sure that we have kids staying together in the same room to keep one room open for a guest bedroom. Because I could easily put another kid into the guest bedroom instead.
Sure.
Where they have their own rooms and all that kind of stuff. But no. I want to make sure that I have a guest bedroom for when somebody comes over, that I can offer them a place to stay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to like give some thought to that before I feel like I would have any. A lot of the stuff like I had to think very deeply about. Also, I read that book years ago, which really piqued my interest in it, and it really changed the way I looked at the home itself, as not just like, oh, we have a house that we live in, but like each room has a specific task in like pursuing holiness for my family. This room is for something, and it, like that, whatever it's for is something to be pursued. And if I don't pursue it rightly, we will not be pursuing holiness in the right way. You know, the house itself is set apart. It's setting me apart. It's setting our lives apart, hopefully in the right way. A house that's not ordered properly will not guide you in the right things. You know, if you don't have a space for there's a hierarchy of things, of goods to be pursued in the home. And so if the house isn't ordered towards those in proportion, then there will be an element of dysfunction that you can't escape from. You know, like if there was a chapel in the house, that would be ideal. Like a room specifically for prayer. But they just don't build houses that way because nobody wants them.
I do, but like a builder is not going to do that because it's then he's not my builder.
Right. I mean, if I was going to build a house, I would absolutely build
a prayer
room, a chapel.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, could I call it a chapel?
I don't know.
There would be like it would be a room of prayer,
right.
A room for prayer. I would call it the chapel. Because like in the order, the hierarchy of order of the good values of goods, whatever, that would be the highest. Because the household being ordered towards God is obviously the primary and most important function.
I mean, because when we've talked about, buying land all together and building homes, Haley and I have talked about, like, we've kind of even drawn out, like, here's how we would want our house to look. And the house that what we would want, the center of the home would be our prayer room. It would not be our living room, but our prayer room. Because the heart of our home, the center of our home, is in prayer. So like we've kind of designed, in theory, I mean,
there's a lot to think about because the home is not for, like, the home is for the function of the family. So you want to make sure that they're ordered towards the chapel, but not like. You don't want the chapel to be like you don't want the chapel to be in between the dining room and the kitchen, for instance.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't want people to misunderstand what you're saying. I know what you mean, but it sounded to me like you were saying, like, oh, we're going to put it right in the middle, like
where, no.
But I think you mean like the primary place, or like a place of primacy.
Yes.
Like I think a good place would be immediately when you come in. You walk in the front door, and you go by the chapel.
Ooh, I like that as well. Yeah.
The first person a guest would greet as they enter would be like this element of Jesus. Obviously, you're probably not going to have a tabernacle in your home. Like, if I could have a tabernacle in my house,
bishop wouldn't allow it. You got to get you know that, right? You got to get approval from your bishop.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know.
Okay.
And they shouldn't be allowing tabernacles in homes.
They typically
I mean,
don't.
like, I understand completely why they don't do that.
Right.
But if I could have one in my house, I mean, like, other people would abuse it, but me,
yeah,
I could have one.
Right.
Man, I would just, like, I'm not sure what I wouldn't do, like in a hypothetical scenario, if it could mean I had a tabernacle in my house. You know what I mean? I do a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just want to encourage people to think about their homes, because there are choices in the home that you have now. There are choices that you can make to improve the function of the home. Adam, you and I have both made one of these choices. In fact, it was the same choice. We didn't make them together, but we happened to both make them by removing the television from the living room. I took mine upstairs to the playroom. So I still have a television. And Pamela and I,
as do I.
Her ladyship and I, we still watch movies together. The children never watch movies, basically. I mean, it's the last movie they watched was like we watched The Prince of Egypt on like in Holy Week, you know, for like
nice
Holy Thursday. But we still have a television, but it's not in the living room, because the living room is for being together. And if we want to watch a movie together, we can do that. We can all go upstairs to the playroom. And that works for us in our house. I'm not saying like that's what you have to do in your house. Your house is different. Is not mine. You know, the layout of your house is very specific, and that causes all these specific choices. But just think about it and try to order the layout of that particular room so that it is in a line with what that room is ordered towards. The living room itself is ordered towards community and towards being together. It should facilitate conversation, not watching television.
Yeah.
So really the living room furniture should be oriented towards itself. Couches should be facing other couches. Chairs should be facing other sitting, you know, like,
yeah,
that's what we were saying earlier. It's like it's always pointed towards the television.
So I think this would have been a better episode if we had our wives with us. They would have been able to like order this a lot better, but that's okay. Haley has like almost basically said, "I'm never coming back on." So
really?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we could probably get her to if we
holy obedience. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think she wants to. Also, my foot is throbbing from stepping on that nail. Like, it is still like
I want to see
throbbing.
I want to see it.
I have a story about a bed.
Okay, well, let's cut off everything and then we can talk.
Hasta luego.